Hey, Chris Liepe here with why your high notes are either weak or forced, and you can't seem to find that balance that allows you to soar and float and at the same time still be powerful. Well, I have a very simple exercise you can do to train free power into your high notes. Before we get into this, you have to understand that all the time, forced, trapped singing is rooted in not understanding the fundamentals and nuances that you have to be aware of when supporting your voice. If you are unsure if you are supporting your voice efficiently, click the link below and join my free course. Or if you have joined it, take it again. And then the stuff that we're doing in this video is going to mean so much more to you. Also, while you're at it, click the other link below and download my full version of Incubus's If Not Now When. You'll really enjoy it. It's a full cover. And we're going to be using a line from that song as inspiration for the exercise I'm teaching you here. Most vocalists are faced with two not so good options when they try to attempt a line like what I'm going to play you in just a second. Option one, inch higher and higher until you start to get uncomfortably high in your chest voice, and then just keep pushing and hope you don't crack, or hope you don't break, or hope you don't burn your voice out right then and there. That's option one. Option two is push until you can't get any higher, and then voluntarily just switch over to head voice and sort of ruin the moment, because you really didn't want to do that note in a weak head voice, but you also didn't want to strain and feel weird when you're going higher. We've been good, even a blast, but don't you feel like something's missing here? All right, and then this next line here. Don't you that note, that's powerful the whole time I sing it. Doesn't sound strained. There's this sense of relaxation that you sense when I finally build up to that note in both instances, right? Even as I inch higher. The first giveaway here is that I'm giving myself release points as I build up to the note. We've been good. Right there. We've been good, even good. There's a little bit of head voice as I release out of that word. Listen again. We've been good. Right at the end of good. It's not just one engagement. It's not just chest voice engagement, even when I'm low right there. Good. We've been good, even head voice, chest voice. Now, listen how I get into the note. Don't you feel like something? Now that posture, thing, is a lot more like where I start on that higher note, right? But I am varying my placement, crowing, crying, twanging, something, as I approach the note. Dynamic placement as you climb keeps your voice loose and helps you resist being locked, which causes strain. Missing Now, how does that sound so simultaneously powerful and sort of relaxed? The key or the clue is right here. That little thing, it's like a mini crack. And then right there is the other clue. Listen to how after this little sigh, the quality of my voice relaxes even more. And then also listen as I slide up to this note. I'm on the verge of breaking or cracking there. But what I do in context is actually thin out the note by bringing the resonance back. I'm not belting and then holding that, hoping my voice doesn't crack. When I feel that my voice, when I start going up, when I feel my voice start to waver a tiny bit, I bring the resonance back a little bit and compress into it a little bit. And you get some like multitonal things happening a little bit in a very subtle way. Not just locked in, which I would get that uglier crack if I stayed there. It's being free to listen to your body as well as your notes and make these little adjustments that help you relax into a particular comfortable placement over a note, rather than just going, I want it to sound this way and I want to hit this note, and then realizing your voice flakes out because you can't maintain what you want to maintain. You're being flexible with your voice. Then I give myself a complete out and reset my placement with that little sigh. Brandon Boyd does this too, incidentally, in his version of the song. This allows me to further compress into it as I go. Okay, then this next line here. Don't you dare, don't you dare. Little mini sighs in there as well. And then I release into. So during the whole arc of this performance, in these lines in particular, I'm planning on, I've got a certain budgeted amount that I can belt on that note. I've got a certain budgeted, and because I have a certain budgeted amount, I know I'm going to need to pull that resonance back and lighten up the texture a little bit. Not being afraid to break, but being on the edge of that break and being okay with it. Then I know I can release into my head voice at the end of those phrases. So it's kind of like seeing the finish line and realizing, oh yeah, I can give it a little bit more because I know I'm going to be able to release. So I told you I had a simple exercise coming, but I needed to go through these lines to show you how cool the exercise actually is. We're going to get up to a belted, high, powerful note. We're going to hold it till we feel and start to hear our voice falter a little bit, and then we're going to intentionally throw the resonance back, then release into our head voice. And we're going to do this in sort of a repetitious sort of way so that we can start to understand how moving the approach around helps strengthen each approach within the exercise. Don't believe me? Try it. It works. We're going to say the phrase e, ah, o. O, and O is going to be where we land on that belt. And then we're going to practice moving that resonance around there. Now, you need to find an area of your voice where you're at the top of where you feel like you can be powerful, and then go a little bit further so that you can find the area of your voice that this exercise is most beneficial and effective for you. Okay? Mine happens to be right here. Oops, he's going to lose it. Yeah, it's lighter, but it's cool. Then, as soon as I go back, I'm going to go to the ooh vowel, and I'm going to intentionally break into my head voice. Okay? Okay, I'm going to do this a few more times, but I'm going to be more deliberate about holding that belt until I feel my first little twitch that I might crack. I might lose it. Then I'm going to bring my resonance back, and then I'm going to intentionally go into head voice over the ooh. Let's try it in a different part of my range. Over time, I'll be able to hold that belted position longer because I know I can always throw it back temporarily to regain that lightness. So I'm not just plowing and going and belting on my chords. This creates stamina and power over time in those higher notes. Demonstration. Yeah! So you heard there was a little bit of crack there, but I was able to adjust and go back into it, much like you heard me do on the recording. That's why I was able to hold that note out for so long. It's because of those outs, those release points, the movement of resonance and placement that I can keep something going where I otherwise would have cracked. Be sure to check out this playlist of other recent discoveries I've made about successfully singing high, and download my Incubus cover and join my free course. We'll see you for more. This one slipped right past me. That's what I get for taking a little time off around the holidays. But you all were nice enough to ask multiple times for me to go through this one, so it must be pretty special. I was super sad to hear that Jordan Fish parted ways with the band. The last few tracks, though, from Bring Me the Horizon have been pretty awesome, particularly Amen, so I'm excited to see what comes of this one. Also, like and subscribe if you have. My favorite one yet from the recent batch of Bring Me the Horizon tunes. Wow. Be sure to check out the playlist of other Bring Me the Horizon tracks I've done, and there's some screaming videos in there as well. And if you'd like help getting the foundations necessary in your own voice to start approaching this kind of singing, click that link below and join my free course. We'll see you for more. Chris Liepe here with the 3 main types of screams and how to get them and practice them. I can't let you go. And I just have to mention Will Ramos, Lucas Magyar, Lauren Babick, and Spencer Sotelo. You have been massively responsible for my progress, especially over the last 8 months or so of being able to internalize and execute these sounds and sensations. So thank you. And I realize there are so many different terms and ways to talk about screaming. I'm going to make things super simple because that's how I've been learning best. Describe them in terms of how they feel. There's 3 distinct sensations that I've been able to distill as I've been practicing these things and using them in songs. And the common thread to success with any of this is being able to feel out proper support and airflow management. If you don't understand how to do that, or you're not sure you understand, or you think you could get better at it, click the link below in the video description or first comment and join my free course, and I'll help you with that. And then these sensations I'm describing here are going to come about way easier for you. All right, number 1, the high sensation. It actually sounds higher than some of the other engagements too, but doesn't have to. Nothing can stand in my way. To start to internalize this sensation and make some cool sounds, start by going ha 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 ha, sort of belly laughing, ha 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 ha, and hold back more and more air as you're doing that, and then you get this little juicy edge to the end of that ha 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 ha. And then follow that sensation you get at the end of there. Then shape it a little bit with your mouth. You notice some of those sound higher or sound lower, and all of them are starting with that initial. Eventually, you could eliminate that and put it in context like this. As with all techniques, what you do with your mouth, tongue, throat, how you shape the sound after the source is huge for how things actually come out. I call it the high engagement because of all the types, it feels highest, most focused. Vessel from Sleep Token. Number 2, the low engagement. This one has the tendency to sound low and definitely feels the lowest of the three. We access this by starting to develop our engaged sigh. Doesn't have to sound low. Yeah. Now, this is not as low as Cookie Monster, as you've heard me describe in the distorted technique of a growl, but the way you get that rumbly sound is to start without your primary chords engaged. And let those false chords, that area right above your primary chords, catch the air. And then once you learn to remove the sigh and go directly into the sensation, you got to be familiar enough with it, you'll be able to shape it better and better with your mouth and tongue while moderating the amount of air you actually dump, which is considerably more than the high engagement. Number 3, the broad engagement or sensation. And this particular technique is often confused with the other two because it has the ability to sound both high and low, and it also has the most intentional use of primary chord engagement with it. This one can also really mess you up if you're not doing it with the right amount of care and introspection. Listen to Vessel's screaming sound in this clip and compare and contrast with what you heard earlier. And now listen to this raw Corey Taylor footage from the Iowa era. As I said, it's very easy to go overboard very fast with this technique, and there is evidence, even in Corey Taylor's own admissions, that he did push things too hard. If type 1 is the highest engagement, and type 2 is the lowest of sensations, this one is the broadest of sensations, and can be moved around and manipulated with the right amount of airflow balance and attentiveness to how we're using our primary chords to sound very rangy. Chester Bennington and his famous given up scream is this type of technique. Put me out of my fucking misery! Hey! We hear those notes in Chester's massive scream, and in Corey Taylor's example, we hear Corey's true voice, primary chords, coming through very obviously. We also hear little chirps and shrieks in Vessel's performance of that raw phone footage that we heard earlier. The easiest way to think about getting into this broad engagement is to use the highly compressed nature of type 1 and the sigh from type 2 and play with both of those sensations, compression and sigh, air dump, air restriction, right around your vocal break, right where you naturally want to shift from chest voice to head voice, head. I'm going to think, constrict like type 1, head, head, and sigh like type 2, head. good! Oh! Yeah! Yeah! Misery! Oh! The coolest part about this broad engagement is that it includes so much character from your own singing voice. So if you've developed nuances in your singing or speaking, they're going to come out in magical ways here. This one is so uniquely you. Now, the reason this one can be the trickiest to dial in well without potentially hurting yourself is because lots of people will listen to guys like Corey Taylor, and they will just start pushing and pushing harder and harder until their voice breaks up. They forget about relaxing into that break area and then using mindfully the constriction and the release at the same time. They forget about combining sensations and just push. You get a similar sound for a while by just pushing, but it's not sustainable. So keep that in mind. Listen to how Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage masterfully goes between these three different types of engaged sensations. When you're experimenting and dialing these things in, you are going to sound dumb. You are going to feel things that are not comfortable. Both of those things are very, very normal. Keep going. Do it in short increments. Listen to your body. Keep things simple. If you'd like more help with your screams and your distorted engagements, check out this playlist. And again, be sure to join my free voice course linked in the video description or pinned comment if you'd like to get a better handle on how to use your support so that you can support your voice in doing these types of sounds. Hey, Chris Liepe here. We've got the Jacksons, Michael Jackson, Heartbreak Hotel. This is a fantastic track, and we've got 76 tracks actually, lots of detail to dive into. There's so many textures and real instruments and synths. And the vocals, this is a singing channel, and I love helping people discover what their voices can really do based on singers you're inspired by. And Michael Jackson is one of my main inspirations, even though I don't really sing anything like him. If you would like help unpacking what your voice can really do, and it can do a lot more than you think it can, click the link below and join my free voice course, and I'll work with you to create opportunities for your voice that you never knew were there. So in this collection, I've got the individual drums broken out, but I found it most fun to listen to the drum set stem and build some things off there so we can hear some details. You can hear the piano very faintly back there. Mic bleed. Great sounding recording. Yeah. And there are a lot of layers here that we can put in that you don't necessarily think of as separate layers. That lower recorded E piano. Right, with the bass. Super interesting, and that goes for a lot of Michael Jackson songs, but Some guitar with the piano. Beautiful percussion. And the horns and strings. Wow. With some guitar. So refreshing to hear all these real instruments in their own acoustic spaces and then mixed together like this. Arranging is and always will be an incredibly nuanced art form, but there's something special about hearing it with all real performers. Those lower cellos there, basses, beautiful. Some distorted guitar. Yeah. You know what I find really fun is these sorts of sounds. These sorts of sounds that you hear as textures in the full mix, but not as their own thing. When you combine that with what's going on in the piano, you get a sense for how all these little performances stand so well on their own. And that's why they sound so incredible. And the pocket and how everything works together is so golden in the full arrangement. The intro cello. I like some of this stuff. Get into this classic, powerfully and engaged vocal performance from Michael.
Living sin 10 years ago on this day of shame. I promised I would never ever be returned. Well, my baby broke my heart and left me yearning. As we walked to the room,
So this was recorded in 1980, and so much of what I grew up with Michael Jackson was, later 80s into the 90s. And for me, it's super fun to hear this kind of thing in isolation and hear the techniques that had evolved in his voice in the later years and decades be what they are here. There's a cleanliness to his voice, a youthfulness to his voice that's not there later. But there's the grit, the range, the expressiveness, the playfulness. Really fun to hear those roots in this context. Notice how much air is before that falsetto hoot. Hoo, hoo. Not just ooh, ooh. You can hear the motion and movement in his body in that breath before the vocal cord engagement. Yeah. And no apologies about the other noises in there, right? Leave those snaps in, he asks. Leave everything in so that you get a sense of the vibe that he's creating. There's nothing deleted or brought down when it comes to the noises that he makes in addition to singing, including the clearing of the throats. Now, some of that is because they weren't able to, back in the 1980s, go through and delete regions in the digital recordings. But that didn't really matter to Michael anyway. He wanted that stuff left in.
Live in sin. 10 years ago, on this day, Martian.
Not 10 years ago, it's 10 years ago. There's this wonderful, healthy grit over the top of his clean voice, even at this age. Shows you it's not an age factor. Like, healthy distortion is not an age factor. It is a technique. And I go over that technique a lot in other videos.
10 years ago, on this day, Martian.
Oh,
I promised I would never, ever be returned. When my baby broke my heart and left me yearning. As we walked to the room, there were faces staring, glaring, tearing through me.
listen to how he changes his vocal posture as he goes higher there and maintains the energy going up.
Faces staring, glaring, tearing through me.
Faces staring, glare. It's a thinner whine, cry, twang sort of sound. This enables him to go higher, having more energy and not strain.
As we walked to the room, there were faces staring, glaring, tearing through me.
Yeah.
Someone said, welcome to your doom. Then they smiled with eyes that looked as if they knew me. This is scaring me. We walked up the stairs, still concealing gloom. There were two girls sitting in my room. She walked up to my face and said, this is the place. You said,
huh, interesting.
two girls sitting in my room. She walked up to my face and said, this.
In my room. Well, I was told that Michael's brothers did not sing on this. That's awfully low.
Two girls sitting in my room. She walked to
Sitting in my room.
Sitting in my room. It's awfully low.
two girls sitting in my room. She walked up to my face, said, this is the place. You said, meet you right here at noon. This is Heartbreak Hotel. Welcome to Heartbreak Hotel. So this is Heartbreak Hotel. This place is Heartbreak Hotel. I hope it's dead.
I just love how he moderates that compression, that mild grit. So full and connected sounding.
Heartbreak Hotel. I hope it's dead.
That's how he shapes heart.
Heartbreak.
That subtle shaping, and I realize I sounded nothing like him. That subtle shaping is what often gives, particularly lead vocals, so much interest. It's not about finding one particular tone. It's about moderating your tone and placement over words, over phrases. That makes things interesting and gives it an extra sense of connectedness and energy.
Heartbreak Hotel. I hope it's dead. She thought that I had cheated for another lover. I turned my back to.
Sometimes these are inhales and sometimes these are exhales with Michael. That was an inhale. And it's fun to try to tell the difference between them. But I love the little squeaks that creates. They're always on rhythm. They're part of the percussion that comes out of his voice.
Dead. She thought that I had cheated for another lover. I turned my back to see that I'm undercover. Now
you really get a sense of, because they're connected to the intake of air, you get a sense that these are the inhale squeaks.
Now I can't convince this girl there ain't no other.
bringing that hook in in vocals that we heard in the synth earlier. So cool.
Someone's evil to hurt my soul. Every smile's a trial that ain't begun to hurt me. This is giving me.
Half the fun of this for me is playing around with my own voice while I listen to Michael do certain things.
Got to hurt.
I hope you try that too.
Got to hurt me. This is giving me. Then the man next door had told he's been here in tears for 15 years. This is scary.
Listen to those little chirps.
We came to this place where the vicious dwell. Found that wicked women run the strange hotel that was set.
That doesn't sound like Michael. Yeah, there's other gang vocals in there that it sounds like not Michael.
From the strange hotel that was Sapphire and Sue, every girl that I knew, and my baby said.
The information I read said that his brothers were not credited as singing background vocals on here. That doesn't necessarily mean that they did not appear.
From the strange hotel that was Sapphire and Sue, every girl that I knew, and my baby said love is through. This is Heartbreak Hotel. Welcome to Heartbreak Hotel.
That shaping on heart is just, it makes the line.
Heart.
Hua, hua, not just heartbreak. He grows the resonance of that, then shifts it.
Heartbreak Hotel. Welcome to Heartbreak Hotel. So evil.
And listen to this release here.
Heartbreak Hotel.
Another one of those things that, like, lots of vocals would be embarrassed if those sounds were part of the lead vocal track and be like, oh no, let me redo that. This is just noise. It's the noise that makes the character.
Heartbreak Hotel. So evil. Heart.
That sounds like a punch. Cool.
Hotel. So evil. Heartbreak Hotel. This place is Heartbreak Hotel. Someone's down in my heart. Hotel. This is Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak.
Ugh.
Heart.
Natural sort of mic preamp distortion, tape distortion.
Heart.
I love how he flips out of that note. Listen again.
Heart.
And then sighs into that run. Such cool nuances.
Heart. Hotel. This is Heartbreak Hotel.
And there it starts clean, and then there's the grit by the end.
Heartbreak.
Ah!
Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel. 10 years ago today. Heartbreak Hotel. This is Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel. You're breaking on my heart. Heartbreak Hotel. This is hard. Heartbreak Hotel.
And there again, listen to the words he's singing and how he shapes the vowels here as he goes down this run.
This is hard.
Right?
Hard.
Far more musical if you don't stick to how things should be sung.
This is hard. Heartbreak Hotel. What you doing to me? Heartbreak Hotel. This is Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel.
Yeah. Hear how he adds more pressure through that? Holding back air, compressing into it like you're lifting something heavy. That right there is a great drill if you're looking to build in mild distortion into your voice. Start lower and create something that you can sing easily, and then gradually start holding back that air.
Someone's out of my heart. Hotel. This is Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel. 10 years ago today, hurt in my mind.
Another thing to recognize here is listen with the background vocals, how the word heart is not shaped like it is in the main vocals.
Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel.
It's very static placement in the background vocals and very dynamic placement in the lead. This creates a separation between the lead and the backing vocals, but also creates this continuity because of that separation. If we had everybody doing the modifying that vowel and that placement on the word heart, it might sound too flat. We actually get greater depth by intentionally letting the background vocals be more vanilla.
Heartbreak Hotel. 10 years ago today, hurt in my mind.
Now right here we have Michael improvising, but let's go back to one of the other choruses where he is holding out heart and listen to the differences.
This Heartbreak Hotel. Welcome to Heartbreak.
We have we have that going on, but then listen to the background vocals.
Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel.
Such a cool contrast, and then listen to them together. It makes it.
This Heartbreak Hotel. Welcome to Heartbreak Hotel.
All right, back to this wonderful improv ending here.
Someone's out of my heart. Hotel. This is Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel. 10 years ago today, hurt in my mind.
Yeah. Oh, listen to that staccato there.
My mind.
Beautiful.
Hotel. You break my baby's heart. Heartbreak Hotel.
And I love that there's like natural signal chain distortion on there too.
This is Heartbreak Hotel. Heartbreak Hotel. Just what you do to me. Woo. No. No.
Huh.
Okay.
Super cool.
Great.
Man, you know what I realized? We forgot. That's so cool. I've done dozens of other Michael Jackson multi-track videos. Be sure you check out the playlist so that you don't miss any of them. And if you'd like more help experimenting with and learning about what your voice is really capable of from a playful, non-judgmental perspective, click the link below and join my free voice course. And I'd love to work with you further.
I'm gonna spread love or hate. I'm gonna spread love or hate. I'm gonna spread love or hate.